Westerns are cool, man. Gunslinging cowboys, but added with Denzel Washington. I challenge those to say no to this movie. Watch this movie be like a complete flop. I mean, I sure hope not. Okay, so The Magnificent Seven. So The Magnificent Seven follows the story of a young woman named Emma Cullen, and after an attack placed on her peaceful town causing ruthless criminals to take over and take away someone very dear to her, she finds her life completely flipped on her head. Which then gives her the idea that she needs to recruit a few well-trained and experienced gunslingers to go up against these group of bad guys, and that's where she meets Denzel Washington's character, and from there they recruit a few more that they already know or they've already heard of, and therefore creating the Cowboy Avengers team known as the Magnificent Seven. Now, as the team assemble, they have a plan to take back the town from these criminals, but they also have a plan to defend as they get ready for the biggest battle they have seen in their lives. Now, the Magnificent Seven is directed by the one and only Antoine Fuqua, who's someone who's kind of on the fence for me when it comes to directing, because you got movies of his like Training Day and The Equalizer. They're really cool movies, but then you also have movies of his like King Arthur that are just like, He's definitely a director that has hits or misses, like definitely. But I believe this is the third retelling of The Magnificent Seven, coming from the original Magnificent Seven with Steve McQueen in 1960, which in return, that's also a remake of Akira Kurosawa's 1954 classic Seven Samurai, so it's at best looking pretty average. Because in a world filled with remakes and reboots, it's really tough to determine on which one's gonna be the good one out of the bunch, but after seeing the new Magnificent Seven, I absolutely had a blast with it. However, just because I had a blast with this movie doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be a good film for others, and I'll tell you why. The reason why it's good is because Westerns is kind of like the staple of classic old school Hollywood, and this movie absolutely captures that feel on anyone who loves Westerns can love Westerns. Because you have the standoffs, the shootouts, everything being dirty and gritty in the Wild West, but packed with that little bit of modern edge to it, it's absolutely all there. Because especially, I mean, look guys, we live in a time where movies are just overloaded with green screen sets and special effects. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're cool to watch, but Westerns is that nice little callback that the art of authentic filmmaking is still alive and breathing today. And I absolutely love Westerns for that, especially when they're being filmed at locations or the sets are being built by hand. The Magnificent Seven really makes you appreciate the art of genuine filmmaking. Plus, added with awesome characters and performances from the actors that help bring this world to life. And it just adds to that feel on why Westerns are so cool. Because you got Denzel Washington as the leader of the Magnificent Seven, and honestly guys, I feel like you already know what you're getting into when you go see a movie with Denzel Washington nowadays. He's a gunslinger that never misses his shot, and if he does get shot, he just shrugs that shit off like he got a scratch or something. I mean, I'm just giving you a heads up before you go and see this movie. He gives a good performance though. And you got Chris Pratt, who gives a fine, suitable performance, but at times he kind of lets his Chris Pratt-ism slip out, and it was kind of weird, especially for a Western. But the point is, Denzel and Chris Pratt absolutely had their charisma, and the charisma was there from start to finish. They could have carried the movie by themselves if they wanted to. But for the movie to be called Magnificent Seven, we also have 5 others that we don't really get to see as much, such as Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, and others I can't really think of at the moment. Because this movie really expands on Denzel's and Chris Pratt's backstory, whereas the others, like, they do cover them briefly, but not as much as the 2 main stars in the film. I mean, it's enough for you to get behind them, but you only really care about them because you want to see them save these townspeople from this ruthless villain played by Peter Sarsgaard. Now that is a Western villain if I have ever seen one. Every time this guy's on screen, you really hate his guts and you want him to get shot in the face. And that's another reason why Westerns are so cool, because you got these villains that are just always solid because of how simple they can get. Which can also get to my negatives about the film, and just because simplicity I can roll with, because that's what we kind of need in cinemas nowadays. We don't need something to be the next Gone with the Wind or Citizen Kane. Because you guys have to realize that this movie is predictable as shit, because hey, it's a remake. Those who've seen the previous adaptations know how this movie is going to end. Even anybody out there who hasn't seen any adaptation from the Seven Samurai or the Magnificent Seven, trust me, you will know how this movie is going to end from start to finish. So if you're going into this movie to find anything new and original within this new Magnificent Seven, I bet you $1,000 that you're not going to find anything that's innovative for the genre. Well shit, fucking $1,000 is a little too much. How about just comments in the comment section? There you go. However, if you're not looking for that, you just want a straight up badass Western starring Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt and more, I believe you're gonna have a blast with it. Now for me, I know what I want from my movies, and I know I was one of those people who wanted a straight up badass Western in this new Magnificent Seven, and I absolutely got that, because I say if you want to see the Magnificent Seven for that reason, go see it at the matinee price. But for those who want something new and original within the genre, just wait for the red box on this one. I mean, the different ratings, I know, but those are for the people who simply just want to enjoy a movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay guys, have you seen the new Magnificent Seven, and what did you think about it, and what is your favorite Western? Whatever it is, leave it down below. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that social media shit down below. Keep in contact with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, may the Force be with you.